I'm just gonna be pretty blunt right away. This video is gonna be really depressing, probably. So, yeah. Really just kind of getting into it. We'll start with this morning. It's 5:30 in the morning. I go down. I feed my goats. They're little Nigerian dwarfs. They're mini goats. Yeah. I go feed them. Things are well. They're eating. It's cool. And it's whatever. It's a normal day. I go to school. Almost fall asleep because I was exhausted. And, still a normal day. This is nothing out of the ordinary. I come home, doing whatever, go down, feed my goats, and I get down there, and I see their hay bag didn't look really touched, or it looked like just barely, like they barely ate anything, and I was like, that is really weird. I was like, alright, I guess, like, I'm not gonna think of anything super negative right away. And then I was like, alright, that's odd. Didn't even think about the fact I didn't see him. Just fucking doing my chores, getting it done. I gotta give them water. I look up into like their little pen. Like I looked, but I didn't like really, I'm not thinking about it. I'm just doing my chores. I look at my pen. I see one of them laying on the ground, like on the other side of it. And I was like, oh, that looks really fucking bad. I was like, fuck. So I literally jumped the fence, sprint in there. I just like poked them a bit, and I just knew instantly. I was just like, oh, god damn it. Like, fuck, dude. What the fuck? Why? And so instantly I'm just like, oh no. And my mom and brother are out there with me, and they're just feeding the horses, getting the horses, like, coats off or whatever. And my goats' names were Riddler and Joker, because we got them right after the Batman movie came out. And that was on the mind, I guess. And like the people we got them from, like the one of our goats was like their favorite, and they named him like Jokey or whatever. Right? It's our little Jokey. And I thought that was really dumb, low key. So I was like, no. I was like, Joker, that's a bitchin' name. That fucks. Like, so we had Riddler and Joker. Because like Batman and Joker, that's like too much. But like Riddler, he was the villain and he cooked in that movie. So I was like, all right, this is good. And so I didn't know what else to say. I was like, Mama. She was like, what? I just yelled, this is really harsh. I just yelled, Joker's dead. And she goes, what? Like fucking starts screaming, which is, understandable. Runs over, bawling her eyes out, which is understandable. And then she was like, no. Actually, I'm not getting into any of that. Just basically, and then my brother was like, oh no, dude. And he's like, where's Riddler? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I haven't seen him. So I went in their little, like, hut thing, and he was not in there. And I looked again, because it's like a weird thing. You kind of have to crawl into it. Wasn't in there. I was like, shit. And then my mom, because I did all the chores the morning and night yesterday, and they thought I did them wrong at one point, but I didn't. And my mom was like, I don't do the fucking chores for one day. Which, she's overreacting. I'm not like dissing her or anything. I'm just saying, not overreacting, but she's upset, which makes sense. And then she like kicked the freaking thing or whatever, which isn't relevant, but she's upset. And then my brother, right after she said that, I was like, all right, like what the hell? Like this was not my fault. Like, you're kind of making it seem now to be my fault. And my brother goes, yeah, I don't think it was him. I think they were attacked by a bear. And we look, and there's like a big thing of freaking hair and blood, like on a bent gate. And we were like, fuck. So, in short, my goats were attacked by a bear, and one of them we buried him. The other is dragged into the woods and gone, and there's no blood trail or anything. It's happened this morning, and the worst part about it for me is like, given how much hay they'd eaten, you could tell by their hay bag, like they were eating. I got really scared. I was like misremembering. Maybe I didn't actually see them, which is terrifying, but you could tell by their hay bags, like it was being pulled out and a little bit was eaten. You could tell. So I was like, okay, I did see them. But it's weird to think, I'm like, geez, I was the last person to see them alive. And I didn't even think about it. It was just like, whatever. Because, like, you don't want to think about that stuff. You can't, like, you should cherish things, but you don't want to think about that shit every day. You get miserable. I was just like, fuck, dude. And then I like went into the woods, looked for him, just couldn't. There's no way. He was gone. There's no blood trail. It happened at 6 in the morning, and it was like 5 o'clock by now. So this was not happening. So it sucks. I don't know. Went and looked in the woods for like an hour of any sign. There's no like real trampling or whatever. No, like the drag marks go out 50 feet maybe, but then it's just nothing. And oh my god, it's horrible. I don't know. I feel another depressing story about goats. The last time we had Nigerian dwarfs, they got sick, like really sick. And from my window at my old house, that was like kind of our in-between that we were renting before we moved into this house. This is irrelevant information. I could see out to their little pen. It was right out front. So, you know, it's just temporary till we got him in the new house. And that's where I watched the first one get put down because he was sick. We had him for maybe 3 months. Like, it was bad. They were born with some defect or whatever. Like, this was going to happen, and if we could save him this year, it would happen maybe every year sort of deal. So I watched him get put down. 2 weeks later, my mom's, like, freaking out. She's delirious. She's out there. She's hanging out with him all the time, sitting with him, reading to him sort of deal, just staying with him for, like, those 2 weeks. And she was telling us, like, we gotta stay with him. We gotta support him. We gotta give him... Because all they had to do was pee. All they had to do was pee, and they'd live. That's literally all it had to be. Even a little bit, just a tiny drop, and they would be able to live. And like she was like, we gotta support him, we gotta stay with him. And I was like, like, you know, you don't want to think, oh my god, they're gonna die all the time. Even though the other one died, I'm like, he's fine. It'll be fine. And then 2 weeks later, I was sitting in my room and I saw him have a seizure. I saw my mom crying like from my window, and I was like, oh no. I run out. Sure enough, he fucking dying, dead. He was dead. So he was dead, but still seizing, which is a really, really horrible sight. Because it's like he's dead, there's nothing going on, but he's still like tensing and freaking moving around. It was awful. And this was in, I think, the summer of 7th grade. And that kind of started my decline, I guess. Mental health. That's when like things really started to get bad, and I really started to notice things. I like absolutely bawled my eyes out that night. And yeah, bawled my eyes out weekend. And since then I've been that, and then my cat died a few months later, which was like my pride and joy. It was like my everything was my cat. That was so sad, especially because the next morning my dog would always sleep in my room, and then this was literally the only time he's ever done this. Actually, that was actually when my dog died. A lot of animals died when we were at that house. We were only there for a few months. So that's kind of what started my becoming sort of numb to that stuff. Like, I haven't cried today or anything. I'm extremely upset. I'm sad, but it's just, I don't know. It is what it is. It sucks. But I'm just saying that's kind of what started my decline when it comes to crying sort of deal. I rarely cry anymore. And I think I'm 90% sure that's what started it. My baby goats and my cat and my dog. My dog, he was a boxer and he was 14, so it was his time. He didn't die of any whatever. It was his time, but it sucked. My cat, we're thinking he got messed up in the move when we moved to that little place because he stopped hunting less. He didn't know where to go. We think that's what started, because he was really good for his age. He was always active, always hunting. He was an outside cat. But yeah. But yeah, that's my extremely depressing story. Hope you were depressed. I don't know. That's a terrible thing to say. But yeah, that's my day, and I have a competition. I have a state competition. I'm competing against the entire state worth of schools and something. So yeah, there's that. But it's you know, it is what it is. I don't know. Yeah. I would say that's 5, but that's actually 10 because I take videos like this seriously. I don't care. I try to care about my deadline, but like with videos like this, there's been a few. Any video that's usually longer than like 5 minutes 30, I'm usually talking about something like pretty important. And this is very important to me. I love my goats. I I was the last person to see them alive, and I was the last person to take a picture of them, I believe. I have a picture of them from like 2 weeks ago. And it's so stupid. It's such a stupid picture because I'll actually edit. I'll put it in. I I use ChatGPT to edit a freaking M60 machine gun and a do-rag on him with a vest. It's the stupidest picture ever. It's both so sad, but it's like kind of funny. I'm happy I took the picture. I barely have any pictures or videos of them, but I'm really happy I did. But yeah, yeah.